So our next resolution of the evening is that Canada's cotton banknotes were better than the polymer ones. And arguing in favor of the motion for 2 minutes is Mr. Prime Minister Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Leader of Opposition, ladies and gentlemen. Canada's cotton banknotes were better than the polymer ones. Cotton banknotes are the old notes, originally in use, made of cotton. Polymer are the newer notes, made out of the plasticized material we have currently for the 50s, 100s, and 20s. Why are they better? Well, I'll tell you why the polymer ones are worse. Firstly, in the first 2 weeks of use, somebody discovered that leaving them in the sun on your dashboard caused them to melt and stick together, having to peel them. No, that was a common news story when it first came out. Ladies and gentlemen, how many of you have left money in your pants pocket in the clothes dryer? Heat, again, ladies and gentlemen, will cause that lovely pair of pants to suddenly not be a lovely pair of pants. If you're a counterfeiter, you definitely will believe that cotton banknotes are better because, ladies and gentlemen, they can be copied. The polymer ones, much harder for now. That may change. But your hot money won't melt like the polymer ones either. You're more likely to cut your hand on a polymer note because of the sharp edges. Cotton notes much softer, even the new ones. If you're a magician, can you imagine trying to fold one of those polymer bills, hide it in your hand, or do whatever you have to do with it, and not have some smart guy out there in the audience go, "I know what you're doing." The cotton ones, much easier to manipulate and use. In addition, how many times have you seen a magician say, "Well, rip this bill in half," and suddenly they create a new one out of thin air? The polymer ones are a little harder to tear apart. So I will suggest it doesn't work really well.
Thank you, Dean. And for 3 minutes of arguments against the motion, please welcome the Leader of the Opposition, Adrian.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The Prime Minister has put forth some arguments as to why the cotton banknotes were better, and quite frankly, none of them are really true. I'm going to show you why, in fact, the polymer notes are better in an uplifting, positive argument as opposed to the negatives that we heard from the government. First of all, polymer notes are easier to launder. Not like financially hide, but actually launder. I mean, use in your washing machine. I mean, they don't melt, they don't tear away, they don't get all wrinkled and stuff to the point where you can't use them. You put them in the washer, you know, spin cycle, they come out, and they're still perfectly new. You don't have that, oh my goodness feeling when you realize that you've put a cotton banknote in your pants and you've chucked it into the washer, and then when you take it out again, you find out that your lovely $10 bill or your lovely $20 cotton bill is now kind of divided right in two because it's torn. So polymer bills are easy to launder. Again, let me emphasize, not financially hide, but actually launder with soap and water. That's what we're talking about. Furthermore, they don't mildew, they don't smell, whatever. And I mean, I know a lot of people who are really quite cheap, and they never really open their wallets. And with the cotton notes, again, you get that creasing, whatever, and all that sort of stuff, and it mildews, and there's dust on it. So you don't have that problem with polymer notes. Polymer notes, you know, you put them in your wallet, you don't open your wallet for years, you know, your kid's coming to you for money, the wallet stays closed, your wife or your partner, wallet stays closed, you know, 10, 15 years later, the polymer note is still as good as new. They last longer and they're cheaper to make. Furthermore, and this is just a personal thing for me, but also I would think other people as well remind me of slavery. Now, I'm going to draw the link here, but when I see cotton, I think, oh, cotton, and then oh, well, who made cotton in the past? Well, slaves made cotton. And it's sort of like, you know what, it's just a huge, you know, it's a huge psychological thing for me and others, whatever. And you know what? Cotton, and the whole Civil War was starting on cotton. So I say, you know what? Avoid war, avoid slavery, avoid horrible, smelly cotton banknotes, and really just go with polymer. That's why polymer notes are better. Do it for my brothers. For all of these reasons, Mr. Speaker, the motion should be defeated. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian, for those arguments. Now for 1 minute of closing remarks, please welcome back Dean.
Let me direct you to not that particular subject like a good magician, but I will suggest as well. Firstly, if people don't open their wallets and the money smells, perhaps it's the dead cow skin that's being used for the wallet that causes the bad smell, or perhaps where it's located on one's posterior may also be responsible. Secondly, if you have a child and you offer to pay them for a chore and it's something they don't want to do, if you rip a $10 bill in half and say, here's half, I'll give you the other half when it's done, that's a good incentive. You can't do that. You'd have to use scissors. And if you really need somebody to do something and you've already got scissors, why pay them? Just use the scissors to threaten them, ladies and gentlemen. That's probably a good thing. Now, as far as the cotton plantation, I'm not even going to discuss that a cotton picking minute because I'm sure the oil drilling folks are good too. Bottom line, in any case, cotton bills were worth more than the polymer bills are now.
Great arguments on both sides. So for those voting in favor of the arguments that Canada's cotton banknotes were better than the polymer ones, please raise your hands high.
Slavery.
Racist.
14. And those who are against the motion, please raise your hands. 7. The motion is carried. Please congratulate the government.